The deadline to pay your road tax is up per July 1st. Together with the Ministry of Justice, we will pursue at least those who did not pay as yet. I would really ask the population to come in and pay your taxes. It is a win-win. We need the money, and you will avoid fines. Then I would also like to announce that I will be leaving this afternoon for a working visit to Curacao, and the topics that I will be are the Central Bank of Curacao is high on our list. There are various topics that we need to discuss with the Central Bank. Has to do with the appointment of the new board of directors. And we will also be discussing there's a special day earmarked for that on Friday, where, the Central Bank is actually busy in revamping the bank institution to become more up to par with the needs and the wants of the 21st century. There were some recommendations in the PwC report, and they are busy implementing those. So we will have a brain session, mini seminar or congress going on Friday. But next to that, I will also meet the board of directors and the board of representative supervisory board to discuss where we stand as St. Maarten, also in connection with our branch here in St. Maarten. Something that I'm passionate about. It's about time that we get our branch up to par with the bank as it's functioning in Curacao. So it's a good thing that we make sure that ours gets up and running ASAP. Then I will also make use of the opportunity to visit the offices of the CFT. The CFT, as you know, is our general auditor for our budgets, and it's an ongoing relationship with ups and downs. I will make use of the opportunity to visit their office, but also to discuss the issues that we have right now. Tomorrow, on Friday, July 6th, the Kingdom Council Kingdom Council of Ministers meeting will be held in The Hague, and one of the agenda points will be the liquidity support for the first quarter of 2018 for St. Maarten, based on an advice of that same CFT. I'm very positive that we will get that done in that meeting, but there are some logistical matters that we need to streamline, and that's one of the topics that I will be discussing with the CFT in Curacao as well. Let me see if there's anything else that I could inform you about. And furthermore, on my trip to Curacao, I will be discussing with some experts the revamping of our tax department and all that we need to do for this tax department. I mean, we have plans, of course, for a complete new building, but that is secondary. But mainly it is to clean up our data, our klantenbestand, as we say, and make it a more favorable environment to work and get the compliance of our customers, the taxpayer, going on a higher level. So those discussions will also take place while I'm in.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Tell them, connecting you.
So you issue a statement to your members of parliament saying you're on break, and then you have a meeting, and you didn't state that a break is no longer in effect. So is the break still in effect or not? Do we cancel our plans? Can a meeting be called tomorrow? Can a meeting be called Friday? We need to stop bending the rules of order to please at a whim to get our point across at a particular time. For the record, I have no issue, National Alliance that is represented here in Parliament, with what is constitutionally set forth within the rules of order, within the Constitution on how members of Parliament come in. It is a matter of how this coalition of 8, and specifically the chairlady of Parliament, is running Parliament at her whim that I have a serious problem with.
And as the MP said, also, as I said during the meeting, that on April 20th, and before you leave, I think we'll give copies of those meetings, hopefully, or have them emailed to you. On April 20th, we called at least 7 meetings. One was an urgent meeting on the dump, and it took 3 months for that urgent meeting to happen because of the prerogative of the chair and the current government. I, as a chairman of the TL committee, of the finance committee, I called a meeting. The first meeting I called was on the 37 budget cuts, April 20th, before the budget debate even happened. Up to now, we still haven't. Even all the discussions we've had in the ministers' press briefings, all the meetings we've had, up to now, that meeting can be called. To a point where the new minister says he will also postpone the meeting because he needs to be updated on the 37 budget cut. Another meeting that was called was on April 20th, was a meeting concerning the demands of Maho. And that was also called on April 20th. Now today, we see the workers at Maho, we see and the uproar in the community because they have no information on what's going on. It was stated by the former finance minister that they want to look into ways of maybe supporting Maho and other hotels through the funds coming from World Bank. So all this information would have been very handy since April 20th. Now we wait almost 5 months before that meeting happens now. A third meeting that I called on April 20th was a meeting with APS, given the fact of that the policy is increasing from 62 to 65, given the fact that last year they mentioned that they will fast track projects, which haven't started as yet. and the public needs this information. So I, as chairman of the finance committee, called 3 meetings. Up to now, we can't get them scheduled because the government and the chair decides again that is not urgent. And imagine this. So I call a meeting on the 37 budget cuts before the budget debate, and the budget debate happens. The minister discusses the importance of these budget cuts, and nothing happens since then. And I'm not planning for the trend to continue, and I'll be pushing for these meetings in August. I've already requested the Khalifi, the Secretary General, to call these meetings again, reschedule these meetings again in August, and hopefully to have the public informed.
As a matter of fact, we have submitted several other meeting requests as well, and so we will take the rest of this week to evaluate where those are, find out from the Secretariat what the planning is for the scheduling of these meetings, as well as several committee meetings, because I'm also chairing the CCARE committee and the education committee. And I really believe that the investigative process needs to be hyped up a little more, that when the meetings get to Central Committee, it has already been, like certain facts and information has already been gathered by the committees. And there's a lot, so much, you know, that I was very, reports of Parliament, of meetings, should come with regularity. And that's another thing we'll be requesting with regularity. Today we heard a report being read out loud. It was sent to us, I think, either this morning or last night. This morning on the meeting last Friday, and who was present, who wasn't present. But I would really like an overview of all the meetings from April 2nd to now, as to who was present, who wasn't present, and what were the decisions taken. Because several of these meetings have overlapped. The recovery meeting, when we were asking questions on that, we couldn't get answers because it was part of the budget meeting. When we went to budget meeting, they can't give us answers on the recovery meeting. So we have several meetings that have been had, and we have answers pending for. 2 meetings were closed last week where the information was not finalized, and we would get it in writing. We didn't have to accept that. When a meeting is held, the meeting can only be closed once the questions have been answered. But how many other meetings will we have open and pending and lose track of? So for the next week, we will, as a faction, be inventorizing the number of meetings we've requested, which ones have been held, and report back to the media in terms of what we expect will happen once Parliament reopens in August. And I think the people of St. Martin should remain very, very vigilant.
If we don't schedule any urgent meetings.
If yeah,
July.
for real. You know, but it would behoove us to really look at when people are talking about country above self, we need to check their actions. Check their actions, because this faction and this MP for sure have put the country above self more than I can count, and definitely as a member of Parliament and representative of the people in whichever function that I've held. And I asked the Honorable MP just now, so why didn't you tell me y'all had a second meeting? He said, but I tell you, like, when the meeting is scheduled to start. You know, that's not the way. And I could remember standing as a member of Parliament, bringing forward a motion in 2014-15 to bring an amendment to the budget to increase funding to youth programs based on budget that was not being used in another area within the ministry's budget. So just a movement. And the sitting coalition members were so against that, that they took me to task because I didn't lobby by them to get their agreement. And then they presented the exact same motion 2 motions later. I had motion 1, they had motion number 4 or 5. The exact same motion with the same result. So the action took place. But don't come talking today about you should lobby if you want to get something passed and you don't have enough people. And now you needed people to pass something, and you never once said to us, yo, this is really, really important. Can you help me out? As you've done in the past. We have done it in the past.
all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 fun mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of fun miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free fun miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles, from within your reach.
Tell them, connecting you.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
1,
2,
3,
4. This is how common it is to develop a mental illness. 1 out of every 4.
4,
4.
4. But there is hope. Today, most mental illnesses can be managed and treated. Visit your general doctor if you feel concerned about your thoughts and behaviors or have some difficulty dealing with some of life's issues.
If you have been diagnosed and are suffering from a mental illness, keep in mind these 4 points to help you manage your mental health.
1. Get regular checkups with your general doctor.
2. Stay on your treatment plan to prevent relapses.
3. Find a strong support group in your family and friends.
And 4. Never be afraid to ask for help and look out for the warning signs of your illness.
Remember, you are not alone. We are as close as one.
2,
3,
4.
Learn about mental health illness by going to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
I would like to say that I've been barely a week in office, and it has been pleasantly hectic and extremely busy. One of the things I would like to highlight is the Emancipation Day celebration, which took place on Sunday, July the 1st. On this day, the southern side of St. Martin celebrated Emancipation Day, 155 years since enslaved Africans on the Dutch side officially received their freedom on July the 1st, 1863. And what a celebration it was. The Department of Culture, under the leadership of Miss Clara Reyes and her staff, organized an unforgettable Emancipation Day commemoration under the theme, The Water Remembers. It started at 5:15 in the morning at the Captain Hodges Pier, and for a very early morning celebration, the turnout, I would say, was fairly good, because I'm sure that a lot of people did not expect such a quality and impacting production. I would like to say to the parents and adults, make sure that your children get to see and experience an Emancipation Day commemoration. It is part of our history and our culture, and they need to know this. I said to Clara Reyes, this production was so good, it's going to be difficult for you to outdo it or surpass it. Her response was, I have a lot of creativity in my pockets, and my pockets are very deep. So with great expectation, we are looking forward to next year's Emancipation Day commemoration. And I want to thank the staff of the Department of Culture and all
who participated and contributed to the success of The Water Remembers. While on the Emancipation Day celebration, let me also thank the Voices Foundation for organizing their annual cultural ancestral activities each Emancipation Day. The foundation pays respect to our ancestors and also honors the unsung heroes of today. It is another way of keeping our history and our cultural heritage alive. It was really a pity that more people, especially our children and our youth, were not present. And I definitely concur with the Honorable Prime Minister, who, during her speech at that time, pleaded that especially our school children should be made aware and be part of this historical and cultural event. As Minister of Education, the Emancipation Day events, as well as other historical cultural events, will be something I will be discussing with the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, and with school boards and with school managers. I have begun a very intensive set of meetings with the various departments and divisions that fall under this huge, very huge Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports. As you may know, the ministry consists of 4 policy departments, namely Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, and these departments have an advisory function. They advise the Secretary General and the Minister of Education. There are also 6 divisions that fall under the Ministry of Education. The divisions of inspection, study financing, student support services, innovations in education, examinations, and public education, under which all the public schools on the island fall. And so from time to time, I will be giving you information about these departments and the executive divisions so that you, the press, but also the people, will be able to know where to go when they have questions or when they have problems. In last week's briefing, I also mentioned that I intend to put more emphasis on culture, youth, and sports, because education already is the biggest department as far as the budget, the staff, and the focus are concerned. And today, I just want to highlight the Department of Sports. I want you to know that the Department of Sports is more a policy department that drafts policies and laws and guidelines that govern the sports activities on the island. The executive branches of the sports functioning, they're done by, for example, the St. Martin Sports Federation and the National Sports Institute. And I can share a bit more about the sports, but I think it would be of more interest to let you know what's happening or going to take place in a few weeks from today. That is one of the highlights of the summer as far as sports are concerned. St. Martin will be represented in the Central American and Caribbean Games, or the CAC Games as we call it. These games will be taking place from July 19th until August 4th in Barranquilla, Colombia. St. Martin will be represented by 7 athletes who will be participating in the aquatic, judo, cycling, and sailing categories of the games. And I would like to take some time and recognize them for their efforts, for they're already winners, simply by way of taking part and representing our island in such a prestigious games. And the persons who are taking part are Shamar Thomas in aquatics, Jan Willem Bus, sailing, Alec Scarabelli, Garth Stein, and Jolion Ferron, also sailing, Michelangelo Bell, judo, and Wilfred Chittick, cycling. They will be accompanied by a sport delegation consisting of managers, coaches, technical coordinators, and a medical team, all of whom are qualified and stand ready to ensure that our athletes are prepared and taken care of during the games. These athletes are all part of the Promising Athletes program that was started back in 2015 by the St. Martin Sport Olympic Federation, currently headed by Mr. Aardwicht Bell. The program started with 100 plus participants with the purpose of training and identifying athletes to represent St. Martin in the CAC Games. Some 2 years later, these 7 athletes are the ones that displayed the necessary technical skills, and I dare say positive attitudes that allow them to be our sports ambassadors today. I congratulate the entire delegation and also the hard-working staff of the Ministry of Sports for a job well done. Our schools close on Friday for the summer holidays, and thanks to teachers, school managers, and school boards for completing a very difficult year. But you did it. And in a subsequent press briefing, I'll share with you the academic results for this year.